Okay, so every pet owner, I think, knows this scene. You try to groom your dog or cat, and suddenly, bam, fur everywhere. It's like a furry crime scene in your living room.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's the eternal struggle.
Right. So today we're diving into this gadget, the Geoorood Pet Grooming Vacuum. It makes some pretty big promises, capturing 99% of your dog's fur.
99%, that's ambitious.
It claims a quiet 60 DOB motor, supposed to keep pets calm. It's pitched as this 5-in-1 quiet dog grooming kit.
Mm-hmm. The all-in-one solution.
Exactly. We're looking at a review from Savage Reviews on YouTube. They specifically ask, does it really capture 99% of the hair?
Good question to ask.
So yeah, let's unpack this. Our mission here is to cut through those marketing claims, the fluff, and see what the real-world performance actually looks like.
What's fascinating, I think, is how these devices tap right into that core problem. That furry crime scene you mentioned, promising near-perfect hair capture, that's a huge hook.
It really is, if it works.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to that number, 99% hair capture. That feels huge. But then they also get really specific about the dust cup. 2.2 liters, holding 50% more than standard models.
Right.
So you've got this almost unbelievable percentage, and then this very precise capacity claim. Does that 50% number feel more, I don't know, grounded?
Well, that 99% hair capture, let's be honest, that sounds more like marketing theater, Real-world grooming with a moving pet. Physics just doesn't quite allow for that kind of perfect capture. It's designed to catch your eye.
Okay, makes sense.
But the 50% more dust cup claim, that is interesting. When marketing gets that specific, like giving an exact percentage increase over standard, it often suggests they've actually done some testing.
Right, compared to just saying bigger capacity.
Exactly. It implies a measurable difference, at least in how much fur it can hold, contrasting with vaguer claims you see elsewhere.
Okay, but beyond those headline numbers, our sources found a bit of what they called specification chaos. Yeah, like one version claims 12,000 pascals of suction, but then you see other listings, maybe slightly different models, mentioning different noise levels. The numbers seem to kind of float around.
Inconsistency. Not ideal.
And then the price. It's listed at $112.99, but marked down from almost $300. That's a 66% discount.
Wow, 66%.
It feels like those deals you see constantly, right?
Yeah.
With a discounted price. It's just the price. You start wondering, was it ever actually $300?
Absolutely. That 66% discount is, well, it's a textbook example of psychological pricing.
Yeah.
And when that sale price becomes the everyday price, it really does raise an important question about the product's true value. What is it actually worth?
Yeah.
And those inconsistent specs you mentioned, the floating pascals, the different decibels, that also makes you wonder about transparency. How well do they even understand their own product line or communicate it to you, the buyer?
So, okay. We've got big claims, the specific but maybe not so specific specs, the kind of questionable pricing. What happens when actual people buy this thing and try it at home?
That's the real test, isn't it?
Well, the pattern seems to be, according to actual buyers, it works great initially, like really well. But then for quite a few people, the suction dies after a few uses.
Oh, that's not great.
But on the plus side, pets do seem to tolerate it better than traditional clippers. That seems to line up with the low noise claims.
Okay, that part tracks. The 60 dB motor claim is believable. That is quieter than a lot of standard vacuums, so it makes sense. Pets might be less spooked.
Right. But then there's the flip side again. Users also mention flimsy attachments, especially the clipper guards. Seems they break easily.
So we've got this contradiction. It performs well at first. The noise level is good, but then durability issues creep in, especially with the parts you actually use for grooming. It sounds like a real mixed bag.
Exactly.
Expecting professional-grade results like super sturdy attachments and lasting suction from a kit that ultimately costs around $100. Maybe that's a bit optimistic. The reviews seem to point towards decent, but definitely not spectacular, build quality.
So good for maybe, light grooming, but not heavy-duty work.
Precisely. If you've got a dog with a really thick coat or you plan to use it constantly, those flimsy parts could become a real headache.
This whole picture, the kind of fuzzy specs, the aggressive pricing, the initial performance drop-off, it starts to make a bit more sense when you zoom in, right?
How so?
Well, if you compare the Geoorood's specs, suction, noise, dust cup size, to some other brands, like, say, Aerobo, they look nearly identical.
Interesting. Really close numbers.
Yeah. And our sources suggested Geoorood looks like it might be a rebrand operation. They sell all sorts of stuff online, not just pet gear, app-controlled litter boxes, other things. The website apparently has that generic drop shipping kind of feel.
Ah, okay. If we connect this to the bigger picture then, that pattern isn't uncommon. It strongly suggests that many of these brands, especially in online marketplaces, might just be sourcing from the same handful of
So
manufacturers.
they're all reading from the same spec sheet.
Pretty much. They take the base product, add their own branding flourishes, maybe tweak the marketing claims slightly, and put it out there. Understanding that helps you, as the consumer, make sense of why so many products seem so similar. You're often looking at the same core tech under different names.
Wow, okay. So this deep dive took us from these really bold marketing claims, 99%, down to the more nuanced reality of performance issues, market trends, and maybe even rebranding.
It's clear that not all the promises quite hold up under scrutiny, but knowing about these underlying dynamics, like potential rebranding, can still help you figure out where the value might actually lie.
Which I guess raises an important question for all of us, right? When you see multiple brands offering seemingly identical products, often with these huge constant discounts,
Hmm.
are you really evaluating a unique product? Or are you just comparing different marketing stories built around the same core thing?
Exactly. What are you really buying? Is it genuine innovation, or is it just a perception, carefully packaged with a tempting price tag? Something to think about next time you're browsing online.